Happy Friday! It is the Prop Queen Pod. We are on for the next hour, talking all things you need to know when it comes to the NBA, NFL, college football. Great guests today. Mid-Major Matt, as always, joining the show on a Friday. Mark Zinno going to join the show as well. Both of them talking college football and NFL. College football, big weekend of championship games. You guys know I need all the help I could get when I talk about college football. So those two, they love the sport, and they will give you all you need to know going into the college football slate. NFL last night did pretty well. If you follow at the PropQueen.com newsletter, the PropQueen.com newsletter went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. We hit the over passing yards for Jared Goff again in the dome at home. He does so much better at home. And the Cowboys have now allowed for 6 of the last 7 quarterbacks that they have faced to go over their passing yard prop. So continue to look for the Cowboys defense and look at how these opposing quarterbacks, especially when the Cowboys are on the road, look at those opposing quarterbacks passing yard props. Jahmyr Gibbs, we cashed Jahmyr Gibbs in the first drive of the game. He had a 26-yard catch, went over that 14.5 longest reception prop. And he also went over his receiving yards, 7 catches, 77 yards. Insanity for a game in the air for Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, the Dallas Cowboys, they are bottom 10 against pass catching backs. So continue to look at how these pass catching backs do when facing dem boys. On the Cowboys side, we did lose the completions prop of 23.5, had the under for Dak Prescott. He ends up going over with 31 completions yesterday. That was just an absolute shootout. That total went flying over. It was 54.5, and it was in the 70s. However, the running back for the Cowboys, Javonte Williams, ended up going just under. Like, this was the craziest beat of last night. Javonte Williams' rushing yard prop was 67.5, and that dude had 67. So we just cashed the under on the 67.5 rushing yards for Williams. The no sweat bet for Williams was that under 11.5 receiving yards, to which it went, as Mark said, to 9 before the show ended yesterday. Javonte Williams ended up with 2 catches for 0 yards yesterday in the Lions win over the Cowboys. So just looking at the odds real quick, I'll pull up FanDuel. Looking at the FanDuel odds and seeing where the NFC race is, seeing now that the Cowboys lost that game to the Lions is a huge L for them. To miss the playoffs, the Cowboys are minus 1,400 now, which is kind of crazy. To make the playoffs, the Lions are minus 142. Cowboys now up to plus 760. So that pretty much knocked the Cowboys out of a playoff run, which was sad because they were on such a hot streak. But it's not the year, Jerry. Not the year. It took too long for this team to all come together. In the NBA tonight, really annoying stuff going on. In the NBA, we still don't know if Tyler Hero is in or out. We still don't know if Evan Mobley is in or out. We do know that LeBron James is out tonight. So is Luka Doncic. What other big injuries are there today? Devin Booker is also out for a week. Jared Allen, the center for the Cavs, is out. Darius Garland is out. Kristaps Porzingis is out. We've got a few more, like Mobley we don't know. Hero we don't know. And those are big ones because I'm trying to place this like super prize picks lineup tonight. I'm just in the mood to have fun. I'm going out. I was at a gala last night. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this before I get to mid-major Matt. And I'm going to tweet out that we're about to have this little chat. Let's say just recapped last night in sports, but now let's recap the night. The night at the gala. What a disaster. Okay. So last night, if you guys follow me on social media, you would see that I was at a gala. I was really excited to go to this gala. It was a $300 minimum to get in, to buy your cheapest ticket. So I paid $300 to get into this thing. It was on the water in New York. Beautiful. Everyone's dressed. You have to be it's maxed out at 39 years old. So you can't go if you're 40 and up. So it was a good age range for me in the 30s. Like a lot of people in their late 20s to mid 30s there. That was like a pretty good age range because I'm 31. Thinking I'm like going to meet some men. Maybe there's a chance. But here's the thing, guys, and I know that you guys are mostly men. So I'm standing at this open bar, and I'm going to, I have 5 girls with me, including my sister, my cousin, my friends. And I turn around and I say to my sister, what do you want to drink? So I'm at the front of the bar. She tells me she wants a tequila soda. So I said, okay, tequila soda. The guy next to her, who I don't know, goes, can I get one? Can you get me one too? Oh, I'll have one too. So he said, I'll have one too. I'm like, what? I don't know you. And I'm already getting 5 drinks for these girls. The guy doesn't offer to help me. He doesn't ask if there's anything else I need. He just says he'll take one too. So I don't answer him, and I just continue to get drinks for everybody else at the, of my group. And as we're all walking away, he goes, you didn't get me a drink. And he's still waiting in line. I go, get your own drink. He goes, it's an open bar. I go, yeah. He goes, so why didn't you get me a drink? I said, you could get a drink, or you could offer to help me with all the orders I had, or you could get me a drink. Why didn't you offer me a drink? Why didn't you go up to the front of the bar and try to get a drink? So now this guy, whatever, I just walk away. But guys, seriously, one, why don't we approach any women today? I'm at this event with hundreds of people and nobody approached me and my friends. 2, how come we're not being gentlemen anymore, where we can't actually say, oh, do you need help? You have a big order. Do you need anything else? Why is it me? And third, the one guy who was nice last night, there was one nice guy last night, but it wasn't, it was half nice. I'm on the dance floor. The only option that I enjoyed of a drink last night at this place was a glass of Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm wearing a light blue dress. As you might see on my social media feeds, you could see the dress. I go to take the sip, and the floor is not that busy, the dance floor. I go to take a sip, and a guy apparently is doing a backflip behind me and slams into me. My red wine goes all over the dress. You could go to my social media. You could go to Instagram at Ari Epps, and you could see the picture. All over the dress. Oh, crap. I forgot to bring it to the dry cleaner. It's probably ruined. But then the guy was nice enough, and he said to me after he realized that I'm this is the beginning of the night. Now it's a light blue dress. You can't tell it's red wine, but it's a whole stain across my chest. And he goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he takes his jacket off, and he's here's my white shirt. Throw the rest of your wine on my white shirt, which was really nice. I wouldn't do that though. I'm not that mean. So anyway, that was the story of why my dress got stained of red wine all over me. But the guy was at least really nice and funny about it. And he was like, you could totally put red wine on me. I was stupid. But the guy before, who literally couldn't go get his own freaking drink, I don't know. And it's not it's one thing if the guy at the bar was talking to me. If the guy at the bar was actually talking to me and having a conversation, it's hey, you're at the front of the line, can you get me tequila soda? The whole time the guy standing behind me in line doesn't even ask hi, what's your name? Oh, you're cute. Nothing. The whole time he's just standing there, and then he wants me to get him a drink, and he doesn't even make conversation first. Bringing on our next guest, Mid-Major Matt. We're going to talk college football and NFL. But Matt, come on, you can't ask for a favor from someone if you don't even say hello.
No, you can't. But I would also say to your first part, though, the reason why no one approached you is because you said you were in a group of 6 girls. I
know. We said that we had to divide and conquer. We tried, but still didn't work.
Guys aren't coming up to a group of 6 girls. That's just the way it is. Maybe 3, maybe if you had 2 and it was just you and someone else, but 6, that's a little intimidating because you have to pick the right one. And if you don't pick the right one, the rest of you are judging you.
That's fair. And I agree. We said we had to divide and conquer. We tried to split up a little bit throughout the night. Still nobody approached us, but whatever. I'm just used to it at this point. Nobody approaches women anymore. I go to the bars all the time. I'm going to do what you give me advice for tonight. I'm going out. I'm going to dinner with 2 girlfriends. We're going to dinner, and then we're going to go out to the bars tonight. Okay. Give me advice, a piece of advice, and let's see if it works for if I could find a guy to talk to.
What do you mean? You want me to tell you how to have a guy approach you?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You're intimidating. You're intimidating. I'm just going to say it.
What should I do? I just have that resting face, I guess.
You no, it's not the resting face. You're just very attractive, and it would be very hard to just come up to you. And there's 2 other girls there, so like, let's be honest, there, they would need liquid courage to walk up to you.
Well, there's going to be a lot of liquid courage flowing tonight, but I'll let you know how the night goes. We could talk about it on Monday if I even remember it by then. We've got college football tonight and tomorrow, all through the weekend. Oh, that's so funny. Joe Quells, you're so funny. I don't know. One day I won't be intimidating, I guess, but let's be intimidating with some wins tonight. College football action. So we've got games tonight, right? Like 4 games tonight?
Tonight's going to be gorgeous football. We have potential for, there could be some rain or snow in Boise State, in Boise, Idaho tonight. JMU, it's going to be like 25 degrees, and you're going to see a tremendous atmosphere in Harrisonburg. I was supposed to go, and then some things didn't work out, so I'm not there. We've got North Texas and Tulane with 2 coaches who are leaving but are staying for this game. And then the other game, the Conference USA game, already happened, and we saw 61 points in that game. So I think all 4 games tonight could be absolutely tremendous. And I think even the snobby college football people who won't pay attention to the group of 5, they're going to have fun tonight.
You mentioned in the newsletter this morning, you had a few plays that you were looking at. You have 4 games, but these were the ones that you said you could definitely see happening. So Troy at JMU under 46.5. How come?
Yeah, I just look, I think that JMU's defense is top 10 in the nation in a lot of categories, top 5 in a lot of other things. That's the school I'm representing here with my sweatshirt is JMU. So they're going to win this game tonight. Troy's actually been pretty good defensively. If you look at what they've done, they held up pretty well at Clemson. They've held up in several other games against some top teams. So I think their defense can keep them in it. The question is their offense just going to keep going 3 and out and putting their defense in bad situations? There is some people who say that JMU needs style points tonight. I think it doesn't matter what they do tonight. It all matters tomorrow. If UVA wins tomorrow, JMU's probably going to a really cool bowl game. If UVA loses tomorrow, I think JMU can get in to the college football playoff. I think tonight screams 31-10, 31-7, something like that. I saw that Troy's team total is 10.5, which is crazy because I think that's a perfect number. I think they're going to score 10 tonight. So if you can get a 9.5, I think maybe the over might be interesting there. By the way, also JMU is 3rd in the country in second half defense. Like, they have been amazing out of halftime. So if this game is high scoring in the first half, I would look at the under in the second half because this team makes adjustments better than anybody else in the country, it feels like.
Robot Glock said, you look exactly like someone a JMU alum would look like.
Yeah, the heat's not working in our building, so it's pretty cold. So that's why I'm sitting here in a hat and a sweatshirt. But yeah, listen, it's going to be 25 tonight. It is going to be it's going to be beautiful. I don't know if you've ever seen JMU's campus, but like, it's in the mountains, and it's going to look beautiful tonight. 18,000 people all bundled up, but making a lot of noise for the Dukes. And I think this is great for the program because they've had a tremendous season so far, and they belong in the playoffs. It's just a shame that they may not make it.
It's crazy. My former boss in North Carolina and also my former coworker in North Carolina are JMU alum, and they're diehards. Like, they really are like a sleeper underrated fan base.
Yeah, it's an awesome fan base. I think a lot of people haven't paid attention to them because this is their 3rd or 4th year in the FBS level. Like, they've been in FCS power for years, and then they made the jump to the FBS level. And all they've done since then is just win and make bowl games and just be very good. Like, their first year, they could have made the Sun Belt Championship game, but the NCAA had stupid rules that prevented that. So this is a very good program. And I think the hire they got for their new head coach, Billy Napier, like, I don't love hiring a guy who gets fired in the same coaching cycle, but I think he's going to do tremendous things for this team. The culture's there, the atmosphere is there, the money is there. I think JMU is going to be one of the better. They're almost going to be Gonzaga coming up because I just think that they're a team that's going to be set up for success no matter what going ahead.
Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State, that's also a 7 p.m. Eastern time game. Not that you have a play that you liked per se. What are you looking at?
So we have a matchup, and it was just a couple weeks ago. It was November 18th, if I remember correctly. 35-26 Jacksonville State in that game. And the reason why, if I was to play anything in this game, it would be Kennesaw State's money line. I don't think I actually am, but my lean would be to them. They had almost 600 yards of offense in that game. They had 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions, and they gave up a Hail Mary, which was a crazy Hail Mary with a ricochet and all this stuff. Like, they gave up a wild touchdown going into halftime, and that's how they lost the game. I don't like to subscribe to, much like we talk about with our pitcher props. If it happened the first time, we don't necessarily think it's going to happen the second time. So I kind of lean to Kennesaw State here. I don't think they're going to have 4 turnovers in this game. I don't think they're going to get 600 yards of offense, but I feel like they are the better team in this situation. It was a slight lean to Kennesaw State's money line, but it's probably not going to be on my card tonight because this game just happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I hate when teams play each other a second time in the span of a month. We've got games at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 2 ranked opponents, North Texas, 24th, Tulane, ranked 20th. How do we see these 2 ranked opponents going head-to-head?
So you can run on North Texas and you can throw on Tulane. So the one thing to watch here for tonight, and this is why maybe it's more of a live betting situation than a start. There is, they actually took away a lot of the rain potential for tonight. It looks like the game could get a little rainy in the second half. There's about a 50% chance of rain about the second half, around 8-9 o'clock in this game. So that could affect things a little bit. I think you can run more in the rain. So I feel like Tulane could be in a situation here where they want to run a little bit more with Jake Retzlaff, who is a mobile quarterback, although the last 3 weeks he hasn't had to run because they've played teams that they were that much better than. But if you look, the one time that North Texas played against a competent offense, a really good explosive offense, when they played USF, Byron Brown had like 5 touchdowns. He had like 300 something yards of offense. He's a mobile quarterback. I think Jake Retzlaff in the rain potentially of the second half could find a lot of success in the rushing yards, maybe even a rushing touchdown. And then Drew Mestamaker is the quarterback for North Texas. If it's not a pouring rain, I think North Texas can throw all over Tulane. Tulane's in like the hundreds when it comes to defending the pass. This one should see a lot of points in this game between these two, as long as both takes advantage of the other side's weakness, and the rain is not too bad tonight in New Orleans.
We like that. Some college football props. I know they're hard to find market-wise for people to be able to bet them, but if you can bet them in your state, you should definitely do it. And then the last game, UNLV, Boise State, 8 p.m. Eastern time as well. This one's in Boise, Idaho. How do you see that one playing out?
Once again, could be some rain, could be some snow tonight in Boise. This game happened about a month ago. My concern here with just jumping on Boise State, who is the home team, is Maddox Madsen was out the last couple weeks due to injury. He was awesome in this game the first time around. He had a tremendous second half. It was actually a really close game at halftime. I think it was 28-24. And then Madsen had a bunch of touchdowns in the second half. They pulled away. I would wait live to see how he looks. If he looks rusty and they're not moving the ball, UNLV might be worth a look. UNLV's quarterback, Anthony Calandria, is a roller coaster waiting to happen. I watched him for the year last year at UVA. He has moments where he looks like a top 20 quarterback, and then he has interceptions or fumbles that you're like, well, wait, why are you even throwing that ball? So I think UNLV could be a little live here, especially if Madsen is a little rusty early on, but I have to see what the weather looks like. I have to see how he looks like. So this is the perfect game to jump in maybe after a couple of drives, see how the quarterback is coming off of injury, and see if Anthony Calandria maybe got that turnover out of his system and is going to play well the rest of the game.
Joe Dollar asked Wyatt Young over 103.5.
So that is North Texas's number 1 wide receiver. Joe, I don't know how we would do with this. I would almost consider waiting just because with weather in the second half, I feel like his number could go down maybe at halftime, and maybe you get a lower number and you could take advantage of that. I wouldn't take it pregame because we're going to get a rainy second half in this game most likely, and I think that's going to affect the passing game. So I would look to bet that live at halftime maybe if your book offers it, but I wouldn't do it pregame.
How about college basketball? I know that you've still been waiting and just been embracing college football as we have it. College basketball, anything stand out?
I mean, we're seeing a lot of points. The things to watch for here, especially in the next couple of weeks, is home court advantage is no longer a thing as much because the students aren't there. And so if you really want to bet a game and you're doing it partially because of home court advantage, I would go on the college's website, make sure the kids are there. Some kids have weird break times. Some kids are on break right now, and therefore there's going to be more underdogs who are interesting in college basketball for these next couple of weeks till like January 1st. Also, we've got conference games coming up. Some conferences will take one weekend this month and play some conference games. So that'll be a little bit interesting, especially without the home advantage. We're also going to have a lot of neutral court games. You look at like Gonzaga, Kentucky tonight is being played in Nashville. Now, there will be a lot of Kentucky fans, probably more Kentucky fans, but it's not being played in Rupp Arena and it's not being played in the Kennel. So make sure to pay attention to where some of these games are. We're going to have a lot of random MTEs coming up. And so basically, you have to pay attention to what I like to look at is the more talented team and the more veteran team, because you're going to have games tipping off at 11 a.m. in a small gymnasium with 7 people there. Well, if you're a young team, you're not going to be used to that sort of thing. So therefore, there might be a little bit of a slow start, or you might want to go to the more veteran team. Also, you want to pay attention to, especially for some of these MTEs, if you're playing 3 games in 3 days, what happened in that first day, how many players played, are there other guys that didn't play who could play in game 2? You want to back the teams who are deeper in that situation because of the fact you're playing 3 games in 3 days. So there's some value to be had in these next couple weeks. You just have to do a little bit more research to make sure that you get all the angles to be 100% sure.
Switching over to the NFL, it's week 14. We've got a bunch of games that are close, that are necessary, and then we've got to look to props. What has stood out to you going into week 14?
So I like the weather in Baltimore. The Ravens are giving up a ton of
field goals. Do you like the weather for me or for the enemy?
No. For Chris Boswell. I think this is another Chris Boswell game. Now, the problem is the books, much like Brandon Aubrey, they make you pay a price for the field goals for Boswell and for Aubrey. Like Aubrey's over 1.5 last night was like minus 180, which is ridiculous. Now, obviously he went over that. He had, 5 field goals last night, 6 whatever it was. So this might be the situation where I actually look at total points for Chris Boswell as opposed to field goals, depending upon what the number is. If it's 7.5, 8.5, I think he could have a bunch of field goals. Like your defense apparently is good enough to let teams go into the red zone, but not actually do anything. The other one is Minnesota, who's giving up 3.4 field goal attempts per game at home. You've got a Washington team now with Jaden Daniels who's playing. So I think that they should be able to move the ball on Minnesota. My one concern is Jaden Daniels has been out a couple weeks and Minnesota blitzes you right off the bus. Like you get off the bus and they're ready to attack. So I'll be interested to see how Jaden Daniels looks early against this blitz. And if he takes advantage of it, we could see some field goals. I don't love their field goal guy because I don't even know who it is because they've changed it a bunch so far this season. But like those are the 2 teams you want to take advantage of right now, Baltimore and Minnesota. Denver's down there too. Denver's a defense but they're playing at Las Vegas, and you usually do play Daniel Carlson field goals because he's indoors and he has a huge leg. So it's really, we love Justin Tucker, the football player, not the person. But it's so funny how we have this K-ball stuff now when he used to do this stuff with the regular field goal stuff. I almost feel like he could have made 70 and 80-yard field goals with the K-ball now, but he can't take advantage of it because he's a terrible person.
Well, he was tried out, but for the Saints, which was actually really funny because if Justin Tucker went to the Saints, then we could have said Justin Tucker is a Saint, and that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, it's so bad. I hate that he is reportedly not a good person because, he's
addicted to sexual massages.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm not gonna talk about that aspect of it, but it was sad to learn all this stuff about him because I was such a fan of him, but like he is a terrible person.
He was your GOAT.
He was. And on one hand, I would have been happy for him to be back in the NFL. On the other hand, I would have been like, dude, that's a terrible look. He can't come back.
He also was terrible last year. He was no longer goated.
He was not. And it was sad to watch. It's like watching Tiger Woods at the end of his career. It's like, I remember you when you were so good and you wore the red shirt and now you're just old and not as good. That's kind of what it looked like with Justin Tucker.
When it comes to your Eagles, they're on the road in prime time going up against the Los Angeles Chargers Monday Night Football. I know we'll get you on Monday night, but right now that number is Chargers plus 2.5. With the way your Eagles have been playing, how much are the Chargers worth teasing?
So I probably would. I will do it anyway because I don't have faith in the Eagles right now. To me, this is a gorgeous setup for props here because if Hampton comes back, they're going to run the ball 40 times in that game because you have Justin Herbert with the hand injury. So to me, I'm looking at under on his passing attempts, which I see is 31.5 because he's going to be in shotgun. Do you know how much it probably hurts your hand? Like, I get it. You can't be under center because it's going to hurt your hand. But if the center, snaps it to you in shotgun, it's going to hurt your hand there too. So I feel like under on his passing attempts, maybe some other unders, and just like overs on Vidal and Omarion Hampton rushes. Like, I feel like, and this is Harbaugh anyway, like Harbaugh doesn't need any reason to run the ball. And with a quarterback with a hand injury, he's definitely going to run the ball. Plus, I'm betting probably like a Trey Lance touchdown, anytime touchdown too, because in the red zone, they're going to use him. So that's kind of my early look on it. We'll talk, as you said, more about it on Monday, but like, Herbert's not going to look good. And so to me, I'm looking at some unders on him and just trying to take advantage of that fact and looking at some overs for Hampton and Vidal. If Hampton doesn't play, Vidal's going to run the ball like 20 times plus, I would think.
You've got the Mid-Major Mat newsletter that you can find at thepropqueen.com. You're going to write something tomorrow. You already wrote for today, so if anyone wants to see, you could check it out, the Mid-Major Mat newsletter over at thepropqueen.com. It's posted for today's games. What can people expect tomorrow?
I'm going to look at the other games. So look, I'll give so we've talked about on the show, I have a 60-1 ticket on Fernando Mendoza to win the Heisman. And it comes down to this, like the Heisman voting is supposed to be done by Monday. So you're hoping that with Mendoza and Sayin and Pavia, well, the first two are playing tomorrow. To me, this is a perfect time to make a bet based off of that. So, like, I'm hedging out of my Mendoza thing. I'm worried about him. I don't know how much success he's going to have against Ohio State. So I'm going to put a little bit of a bet on Ohio State's money line because I think if Ohio State wins, it's going to be because Sayin has a really good game. And if he has a really good game, he's going to win the Heisman. So I'm kind of somewhat hedging out of my Fernando Mendoza bet. So that's kind of where I'm looking here, like for some creative angles. Like if you have nothing in the Heisman thing, but you kind of want to bet it, if you think Indiana's going to win, take Mendoza. If you think that Ohio State's going to win, take Sayin. But I think it's going to come down to one of those two to win the Heisman. And so we got to get a little creative in this last game if you want to find some value.
Mid-Major Matt, you're the absolute best. Thank you as always for coming on the show. Good luck to those bets tonight and this weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Before we get Mark Zinno joining the show, let's get to some NBA. It is a propaganda. These are the most bet on props according to BetMGM for tonight. The center for Memphis, Zach Edey, under 13.5 points. Kevin Porter Jr. overs, they like 20.5. They like the over points and assists because there's no Giannis Antetokounmpo for at least the next 2 to 4 weeks. Out with a right calf strain. Rui Hachimura over 15.5 points. I've got to play on Rui, and it ain't the points, but we'll talk about why with LeBron and Luka officially out tonight. VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid is also out tonight, but people are looking for Edgecombe under total assists and rebounds. I'm staying far away from that game solely because that game just happened a month or so, like last month, with Embiid out as well. Who else was that? Who else was out in that game? That's the Sixers facing. Why am I blanking? The Sixers are facing the Bucks. Oh, Giannis and Embiid were out that game. So Giannis and Embiid were out for that last game also. And a lot of things hit that I liked for today. So I don't like to bet the same thing to happen twice. But these are your most bet on props according to BetMGM. Zach Edey, Kevin Porter Jr., Rui Hachimura, VJ Edgecombe, all different props. But we are going to talk after this next segment. We'll talk some NBA injuries, how you could take advantage of certain NBA props. And I've also done something that I never do, but it's Friday night. I'm about to go drink, have some dinner, and enjoy my evening. And I'm going to go to the bar and try to keep track of this massive Prize Picks lineup that I'm going to give you guys. It's the Prize Picks Props.cash lineup. So we're going to take advantage of the injuries in the NBA and make a ginormous Prize Picks lineup. And I will give a lucky winner a portion of this bet if it does cash, because it's a nice little payout. But coming on the show now, it's been a little bit since we've had him on. And I had to bring him on because there's a big college football weekend ahead. We've got NFL to talk about. It is Mr. Mark Zinno. Hi, Zinno.
What's going on?
Where are you?
I'm good. I'm on remote location.
Where are you?
I'm actually in Alabama for Army training this weekend. So hence the clean-shaven, baby-faced look, which I don't really support.
Ooh, so are you sleeping?
I am sleeping. We're fine. We're fine.
Okay.
You know, days are a little bit longer.
You look like you're in Army training. It looks like you're in like a nice bunker.
No, not really. It's a comfort inn. It's just, there's a bed here.
I said nice bunker. I didn't say nice hotel.
Right, exactly. So no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for coming on. I wasn't able to make you a fancy graphic, but I do know some of your plays going ahead to this weekend. Mm-hmm. First off, tonight we've got 4 college football games, but we've got big conference championship game as well, like all throughout the weekend. So just a preview of what your little how do you handicap this weekend differently than others?
Well, some of these are rematches, right? So to handicap a rematch is sort of sometimes a little bit more difficult. A lot of people just kind of go with, this team won the first game, so you go the other way in the second game. That's not necessarily always the case. I think when you look at some of these games, you have to look at a lot of the situational stuff that's going on. I mean, Texas Tech is first ever 11-win season, first ever championship game. A lot of pressure on them to win. It's like, how much is the pucker factor going to be there for that team against a BYU team? Even though I think they're playing for the right to be in the college football playoff, I think if they lose, they're out. But they just get a huge emotional lift with their coach coming back, deciding to stay. And does that play into it? So there's a lot of different factors here kind of that you have to take into account. And for some of the smaller conference games, it's like, it almost feels semi like bowl season to a certain extent, like who's more motivated to win the game here? Because in reality, it's this game and one more for them and their season's done.
So we've got this game tonight. North Texas is facing off with Tulane, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 2 ranked opponents. North Texas is a team that you're looking to bet, but in a different way. How would you take North Texas tonight?
I land their team total over 34.5. I mean, look, you can't play a spread with North Texas to a certain extent against a good team. Why? Because their defense is awful. I mean, there's only one team playing in conference championship weekend with a bottom 10 run defense in the nation, and that's the North Texas Mean Green. So what I do know, the one constant is they're the number 1 ranked offense in the country. They're top 40 in rushing. They're going to put up points, right? Like that's the one constant I think. I know the weather's a little bit sketchy in Louisiana. It's supposed to be raining a little bit. Doesn't really faze me because the pace that North Texas plays with, you're looking at a total of 66.5 in this game area. Like the one thing I think we feel like we can trust that if North Texas have any shot to win this game or cover it or whatever, they've got to score. And that's the only way they can do it because they can't stop anybody. So I'd be hard pressed to believe that North Texas, if they only score 27, even has a shot to win this game, right? I just don't see the old 27-24 final between these two teams of all teams coming out here. So not being able to trust the North Texas defense went to an alternate market, 34.5 team total over.
So JMU is a team that clearly has a 23.5 point favorite, ranked at 25th. Mid-Major Matt says that they deserve to be in a playoff, but probably won't be, and they'll just get a nice bowl game. 23.5 is a very hefty number to have to lay. How do we get around the 23.5 if we like JMU?
Listen, I'm not laying 23.5 with big 4 power schools on a regular basis, so I'm probably not going to do it here. Look, Mid-Major Matt's right. The motivation level for the Dukes is high. For them to put on a good performance is really high. For them to actually win in blowout dominating fashion is important to what the optics are going to look like for the committee. Here's the problem. The JMU defense may be better than their offense. And I don't think Troy scores more than 10 points in this game. And from that standpoint, I think JMU over 34.5 for their team total is viable. But here's my concern. They're not going to have to push the pace in the second half because they may be up 30-3. And, is there a difference between 40-3 and 30-3 in a committee's eyes? I don't know the answer to that. But in reality, it's just like they don't have to continue to push as hard to score because their defense isn't allowing Troy to score at all. So let's take the best half, which would be the first half, lay the 13.5 here. And if they're not up by 14 points at halftime, you got to wonder James Madison ain't going to the playoff even if they win the game, right? Because it'd be hard to win by 30 just with the second half alone. So I think you get a motivated team at the outset. They want to set the tone. Again, going to be really cold in Virginia. I think there was snow on the ground in Virginia today from some of my friends there in like the Charlottesville area. So Weather could be bad, but that's certainly going to favor JMU more than it is Troy, who just doesn't really have an offense that's going to scare anybody. So I laid the 13.5 in the first half here, knowing they want to get off to a fast start, take Troy emotionally out of the game, get to a big lead, and sort of coast in the second half and put up some extra free points.
Tomorrow, a huge game. It is, I think, the first time that the 1 and the 2 are facing off in a conference championship game. Well, maybe at least in the Big Ten or in conference championship game in general. Do we know that stat? I know it was.
Yep. 1 versus 2 for the first time in the Big Ten championship game. Yeah.
Right, in the Big Ten championship game. Okay, that was the stat. So Ohio State, the number 1, Indiana, the number 2, 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I don't even know why the hell they decided to also make Virginia and Duke at 8 p.m. because that's just silly. We should just isolate this Indiana and Ohio State game. I know that's going to be the game to watch right now on FanDuel. You're seeing Ohio State minus 4.5, Indiana, total 46.5. So what you got for us there?
Well, I'll start off by saying I definitively lean Indiana in the spot here, taking the points. I would argue that for as good as these two offenses are, I think their defenses are even better, which is why I played the first half under 24.5. I mean, in a game of this magnitude, now both of these teams are going to the playoffs, right? And it probably means more to Indiana to win the conference title than it does to Ohio State. They didn't play in a conference title game last year, and they still won the Natty. So, they're not here for anything other than winning a national championship.
And they beat Michigan, thank God. Already.
Yeah, doesn't mean that they're not motivated for the game, but with this type of atmosphere in this game, Ariel, like I just see it starting out very slow, right? Ryan Day in all these big games typically gets very conservative, as a lot of coaches do. Neither team wants to make the first mistake that's going to put the other team at a decided advantage early and force them into a hole to dig out of it. So what happens? Teams are willing to punt more. They'll take the short passing game. They'll run the ball more early. They'll look at it from that standpoint where they just don't want to make a mistake first, because whoever blinks and it ends up, chasing is going to be a team that's going to have a problem against both of these defenses. So nobody wants to give up the big play. I just think the pace is really slow at the start here. The under for the game looks good for me, but like I say to everybody, chances are if it ain't going over early, it ain't going over late. And if it ain't staying under early, it probably ain't staying under late. So I think the tempo of this game will be really slow. I kind of wish this thing was outdoors in the cold. That's one thing that makes me a little nervous. It's a fast track. It's indoors with Lucas Oil. You don't have to worry about any of the elements. Like if this was outdoors, I'd feel a lot more confident if it was cold and windy, because the first quarter guys are banging against you. It doesn't feel really great and everything else. So, but I'll roll the dice here with the under. I don't know if there are any more 24.5s out there. I locked this in earlier in the week, but even at 23.5, if it lands 14-10 or 21-3 or whatever it may be, kind of live with it. I still think under 23.5 is playable.
Throwing you a wild card, Craig Abel said, can you ask him what he thinks of Boise State UNLV?
Toughest game to call on the board, to be honest with you. A lot of sharp people that we both know, including our good friend CT, are all over Boise in this game. So is my good buddy Brian Power. You know what? I've stepped in front of UNLV like 4 times this year and I've been bit in the ass. So I don't feel like doing it again. Now, this number is already up to 5.5, which tells you where the money is, and it's coming in on Boise State. Here's the real X factor. Like Madsen, the quarterback for Boise State, is back. And is 80% of him better than what they had before, better than what they did to UNLV last time they played them? Tough question to figure out. It might take him a half to get his legs underneath him. And if UNLV builds up a 4-point, 7-point lead, it's like, well, now you're in real danger of trying to cover, what is essentially a dead number at 5.5, even though college doesn't really have the key totals the NFL has. But so, I mean, I'm not going to play the game. I personally lean UNLV. I'm not stepping in front of them again. I just feel like it's Dan Mullen's year. And, despite the fact that he hasn't gotten a job, considering all these openings that have opened up, he's done an amazing job with these guys that have been super resilient. This is another one that's a rematch that, if UNLV makes all the corrections from getting their butt whooped the first time around, I think it should at least be close enough here. And this is one of these, a lot of these conference championship games, sometimes I feel like, Ariel, the spread doesn't really matter. Like, either the favorite covers big or the dog wins outright. I think this is a game where the spread matters. I think I could conceivably see Boise State winning by 3 or 4.
Another big game that the spread is probably going to matter. Georgia, Alabama. You've got Georgia at minus 2.5 at I know it's neutral. Georgia, Alabama, just a habit. Georgia laying 2.5 total, 48.5 SEC championship game. Again, 2 teams that rank 3 and 9. Not sure exactly what there is to play for in this situation because you just don't want to get hurt going into the college football playoff. What you got here?
I think the wrong team's favored.
Mm.
I'd make Bama a favorite in this game. I made him a 1.5, 2-point favorite. Like, just genuinely did on a neutral site. I mean, I know, again, I think a lot of people are going to run to the window to bet Georgia. I think this thing may hit 3 by the time Saturday afternoon, rolls around. And full disclosure, I haven't gotten to the window yet, but I'm probably going to end up playing Bama here. The Georgia offense, like, I don't know if they were laying down and sandbagging last week, but that offense that showed up against Georgia Tech that only scored 16 points is kind of what they've been more often than not. I know they had a good run from the Texas game to Mississippi State to taking care of, a bunch of other teams, but Georgia is all year long, with the exception of a couple of games, they've been either tied or trailing at half. And Bama ran out to a 24-3 lead against them. Now, Bama didn't score a single point in the second half of that game in Athens earlier in the year. But, I mean, Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. And in these spots, I think he does really well. Nobody's better than Kirby Smart. He's the best coach in college football. I don't think anybody debates that. And he's a very good adjustment coach. So, the other piece of advice, again, I'll probably get to the window on Bama. I feel like I will at this point in time. I just want to wait until the morning to see if any number moves. If it moves in favor of Alabama, I might just stay off it and bet it live, which probably would be my next suggestion. Whichever team gets out to a lead first, if you get more than a field goal number to the other team, then jump on it. Because I think this game will come down to a field goal. The number absolutely will matter here, depending on what it is. And in reality, again, I think Bama's the better team. So
what a shame at 2.5. It's not an NFL game that you could tease, but it is against the gambling gods' wishes and the Bible to tease college football games.
You know what? I tell this to everybody. You do what you want with your own damn money, okay?
Sure. Just don't tell anybody.
Exactly. That's all you got.
Just don't tell anybody that you tease NFL totals and college football sides, because Kelly and Vegas will never be your friend. No. Never will be your friend. NFL, we've got the Buffalo Bills in action. I really love Josh Allen this week. Think it could be the breakout week for Josh Allen. Big game, Bills, Bengals. Can Joe Burrow and the Bengals continue their winning ways after breaking my heart in Baltimore on Thanksgiving? What you got?
Breaking your heart and my bankroll. Thanks, Ravens.
Yeah, and my whole my body didn't regain its heat for 5 days.
Listen, I mean, I was one of the suckers who laid the 7 because I'm
doing. I was one of the suckers who paid for the ticket. Dumbass. Dumbass. Wasted my Thanksgiving. Horrible Thanksgiving. Anyway, I'm not talking about the Ravens. Bengals.
No, well, I mean, look, I think it's fair to say that Thursday night was more a reflection of the Ravens and what their season has been than necessarily the Bengals being back with Joe Burrow. Bills 24-3 in the month of December with Josh Allen under center. That feels like it's pretty good to me. And I still think we're overvaluing Burrow's return here. The worst defense in football. In fact, prior to last week's game, DVOA, worst defense in NFL history, belongs to the 2025 Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know what it is this week, but
Trey Hendrickson's still doubtful. So
yes, Bills should roll in this one. I know they have problems. I know their defense is leaky, right? It's not a defense necessarily that you want to trust, but I trust 17 more than I trust any quarterback in the league. And the fact of the matter is that even after last week, him having a very sort of mediocre game that they won with a lot of the running going on, he should pick this secondary apart. I mean, dead numbers are tough to bet at 5.5. I think it's up to 6 now, actually, but I got 5.5, and I'm laying it with Buffalo here. It seems very chalky, very square. I get it. If the Bengals do it again, I'm willing to live with it, but I'll still say it's more of a reflection of the Bills being flawed than it is the Bengals being good. There's enough here with the Bills defense overall for them to keep Cincinnati in check. And I think Allen goes wild. Buffalo puts up 35 in this game, if not 40, and should run away with it and cover it.
I sure hope so. So North Texas team total over, JMU first half spread, Indiana OSU first half under, Bills -5.5. That is from Mark Zinno, who is so nice to join us, even though he's super busy out there in Alabama. But thank you so much for coming on, Mark.
Roll Tide. Remember that. Roll Tide.
Good luck to those bets. We'll see you again soon. Time for my stuff. Let's get to some NBA. So let me just tweet real quick. Marley is staring at me. She's like, Mom, stop working. NBA prop NBA prop queen edges of the day. Let's take advantage of NBA injuries with props.cash. I love props.cash. Lots of NBA injuries today. Lots. We're starting with the Lakers. The Lakers are without Luka Doncic and LeBron James tonight. We were waiting to find out if LeBron was out. He is. So they are taking on the Boston Celtics. Celtics now laying 8.5, total 227.5. Rui Hachimura benefits the most from Luka and LeBron out. And this is the second leg of a back-to-back. The Lakers played yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Lakers played at Toronto last night. So Rui didn't have a good game last night. Nonetheless, Rui hasn't had a good game in a while. But we haven't really seen no LeBron in a while. And that's the double whammy of Luka and LeBron being out. Rui Hachimura. I'm going to show you guys on props.cash. I actually have the chart. Rui Hachimura without Luka and LeBron on the road in the last 10 games. He has done wonders. So just to get you the exact numbers, without both of them, Rui is averaging 23 points plus rebounds, going over in 7 of his last 10 when on the road without Luka and LeBron. And again, that number is 19.5 for points plus rebounds. So definitely take a look at Rui Hachimura overs tonight. Bam Adebayo over 2.5 assists. I think I'm still waiting to find out if Tyler Hero is in or out tonight. But if Tyler Hero is out tonight, then look at the numbers for Bam with Khalil Ware, without Tyler Hero, with Miami on the road. So the Miami Heat are at the Orlando Magic, a top defense tonight. They've got Paolo Banchero underneath. They've got Wendell Carter. So there's some size. Bam and Khalil Ware are going to have a tough day, at least offensively. And it's not Bam's offensive numbers that actually benefit from Hero out. It is his assist numbers. You can look at that over 2.5 assists for Bam Adebayo tonight without Tyler Hero. I know he is doubtful, Joseph Rodriguez. That's why I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do without him. Yes, Powell is the one that you could look out for to eat tonight, but Bam Adebayo's assists are what goes up when Tyler Hero is out. So if you want to play the big Bam Adebayo, then you could look to his over assists. Another big who plays at the power forward position, which Bam switches between center and power forward, is Onyeka Okongwu for the Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks, it's interesting because they're without Trae Young still and Kristaps Porzingis. So, I don't care about Trae Young. I don't even know. Is he in? I think he's still out too. But these were the numbers without Kristaps Porzingis. And look at all that green for Okongwu. And I kind of like this because these two already played. And I just want to get my numbers up. So Okongwu with Porzingis, he's gone under in 6 of 10. But when he's gone without Porzingis, he's gone over 2.5 assists in 9 of 10. Power forwards have cashed the over on their assist prop 64% of games this season when facing the Nuggets. If Okongwu has to deal with Jokic, it's going to be tough to get those shots up. So he's going to have to dish the ball out from underneath. So I'm going to look there for Okongwu tonight. Donovan Mitchell under rebounds. This is, of course, only if Evan Mobley's also out. But Darius Garland is out tonight. Jarrett Allen is out tonight. And I just want to, let's get to, where are we? I don't even have that. Oh, no, this is the screenshot. So Donovan Mitchell without Darius Garland, because he has to pick up some of that offensive and he has to be more of an offensive weapon. Can't focus as much on the boards. This doesn't matter too much without Allen as well, but if we're without Mobley, then I'm a little scared. But I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell under rebounds. It's a lot of red for him without Darius Garland on the boards. And again, makes sense. You lose Garland assists, you lose Garland points. So you need to make up for that with Donovan Mitchell. And this game also is at home. So being at home, you would think that Mitchell will just focus more on offense instead of defense. Devin Vassell, he's got really interesting numbers when they're without Castle and Wemby. So let me just find that chart. It's a lot of green without Wemby and Castle for Devin Vassell. All games on the road this year without Wemby and Castle have gone over his points and rebounds. All of them. All 21 plus, and this number is 19.5. So it's a great trend there for Vassell to go over his points plus rebounds tonight without Wemby and Castle being on the road. That game is Spurs at Cavs. So make sure to check that one out with the Cavs laying 3.5. Last one, Grayson Allen was another trend. So Devin Booker is out and getting reevaluated in about a week. So with Devin Booker out in the last 10 games, on the road, Grayson Allen has gone over in 5 of 6 games. So Devin Booker for assists, for rebounds. Rebounds. 2.5 rebounds. Take the over on Grayson Allen. He gets aggressive on the boards as well. And you're going to get some bigs in Houston, whether Şengün's in or out. I saw he was questionable. Jabari Smith, and KD. It's tough for the bigs of Phoenix. So let Grayson Allen get aggressive. We know that Grayson Allen can get aggressive for sure. There was one other that stood out to me too. That was Donovan Mitchell. This is a fishy line. Ryan Rollins is a fishy line. So just keep this trend in mind that Ryan Rollins without Giannis Antetokounmpo is very good dishing the ball out. I mean, look at the overs at home without Giannis. He goes over this number of 6.5 in all of them so far this year, except this game already happened with Milwaukee and Philly, and Giannis and Embiid were both out that game as well. And Ryan Rollins had 14, as you can see there, 14 assists. So why the hell is this number 6.5 with juice to the under? It's a fishy line. Like literally, it deserves the graphic. We haven't used it. Fishy line. Like this number is just super fishy for under 6.5 assists. A game that already happened. Remember, I don't like the same result twice, especially when it's the same with Giannis and Embiid being out. So I'm staying away from the Ryan Rollins number, but I actually think it's a fishy line and we should be taking an under there for Ryan Rollins on his assists tonight. NFL, there were a few different NFL lines that I liked going into the weekend that you could jump ahead of. And if you go to my Pickett Sports account, you will see that I bet 3 different props already for Sunday. So definitely check them out. But I'll give you my long list of NFL props that I have so far, and I'm going to be adding to it. Baker Mayfield under 30.5 pass attempts. He went under in all 3 home wins this year. The Bucs laying 8.5 against the New Orleans Saints. In the home wins this year, Baker's had 29, 23, and 28 pass attempts. Oh, you know what? I should tweet out that we're talking NFL early lines. NFL early prop lines. Tune in now. So early prop lines. Okay. Baker Mayfield under pass attempts in their wins at home this year. 29, 23, and 28 pass attempts for Baker. The Saints, second least pass attempts per game allowed. 27.5 because the Saints are always freaking losing. So why are we going to waste Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield throwing the football when they're up by a bunch? Again, 8.5 point spread. Trevor Lawrence over his pass attempts. He's gone over this in 3 of 4, averaging 36 pass attempts a game when facing teams that are bottom 10 against the pass. He's averaging 34 pass attempts in 6 home games this year, Trevor Lawrence. Indianapolis, most pass attempts per game allowed at 38. 9 of the last 10 quarterbacks went over their pass attempt prop against Indy. Brenton Strange over 39.5 receiving yards. He's gone over in 2 of 3 at home this year, 59, 61, 22 receiving yards. Indy's second most receiving yards per game allowed to tight ends. Jonathan Taylor, please look at home road splits. They matter. Taylor's averaging 75 rushing yards a game on the road and 129 at home. His rushing yard prop is 94.5. In Jacksonville in his career, Jonathan Taylor has had 77, 54, and 19 rushing yards. The Jags actually allow the least rushing yards per game to running backs at 64. So with Jonathan Taylor on the road and these two facing off again in a couple weeks, I'm looking away from that. Wide receivers in Baltimore or tight ends as well, but there's 2 that I would look at for longest reception props against the Steelers who allowed the most receiving yards per game to wide receivers. DeAndre Hopkins, over 11.5 yards for his longest reception. He's had 41 and a 15-yard catch at home against the AFC North. Over in 5 of 7 home games this year, averaging 19 yards per longest catch. So you can look to him over 11.5. That number seems very low. The Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely. This is a very crazy trend. Over in 4 straight games against the Steelers, 27, 42, 19, and 25-yard catches for Isaiah Likely. His longest reception prop is 15.5. Isaiah Likely, listen, the storyline has been Mark Andrews all week. He signed the 3-year extension. Isaiah Likely's done so well against Pittsburgh. At home, he's gone over in 3 of 4 against the Steelers. 5 straight home division games Likely went over, and 61% of tight ends have gone over their longest reception prop against the Steelers. So go to Isaiah Likely or DeAndre Hopkins this weekend. Josh Allen over passing yards. I said it earlier. I like him a lot this week against Cincy. 264 and 258 is the passing yards numbers that Allen's had against the Bengals. Over in 4 of 6 at home, averaging 276.5 passing yards a game for Josh Allen this year. I've said this time and time again. Oh, Evan Mobley, illness, a game-time decision. Great. 3 games this year that Josh Allen has faced a team bottom 10 against the pass. 2 of those were at home, and he went over in both. Cincy, 4th most passing yards per game allowed to quarterbacks. 83% of quarterbacks went over their passing yard prop against Cincy this year. You could look to Evan Ingram over his receiving yards against Vegas. They allow under his receiving yards prop against Vegas. He allowed the 3rd least receiving yards per game to tight ends. Jordan Love over 9.5 rushing yards. He's gone over in 4 of 6 at home this year, averaging 14 rushing yards a game. The Bears, 3rd most rushing yards per game allowed to quarterbacks. 58% of quarterbacks went over their rushing yard prop against Chicago this season. Maybe an under for Travis Kelce. Houston's allowed the 5th least receiving yards per game to tight ends. My only concern is Kelce at Arrowhead in primetime has very good numbers. So that was my concern there. Woody Marks, the Houston running back, under his 50.5 rushing yards. He's averaging 34 rushing yards a game with CJ Stroud. Without him, 60, and Stroud's back. Under in 5 of 6 road games, Woody Marks. Chiefs allowed the 5th least rushing yards per game to running backs. 64% of running backs went under their rushing yard prop against the Chiefs. So if you are going to try to beat the Chiefs, which the spread did move in favor of Houston by a point, 4.5 to 3.5 Chiefs, they're going to make CJ Stroud make throws and throw the football. So I'd be looking to CJ Stroud to throw more and get under on Woody Marks' rushing yards. So if you guys want to have fun with me tonight on Prize Picks, I'm doing a Props.cash Prize Picks lineup. $100 pays me $26.50. Oh boy. We're just going to put everything in a Prize Picks lineup of the injuries that we got on Props.cash. Rui Hachimura, more than 19.5 points plus rebounds. Grayson Allen, more than 2.5 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell, less than 5 rebounds. Devon Vassell, more than 20.5 points plus rebounds. Bam Adebayo, more than 3.5 assists. It was supposed to be 2.5, but they only had 3.5, and I think he could get 4. So $100 pays you $26.50. And if we cash this, I will give someone who comments below some lucky winner some extra cash to do what you want with it on this Friday. So if we cash, I will announce a winner. Just comment on, I'm going to post this. I'm going to post the Prize Picks lineup to my X page. So on X, once I post this Prize Picks lineup, comment below, like, I don't know, anything. Like, let's win, let's cash, blah, blah, blah. Just comment something on my post of this. And whoever comments below on this Prize Picks lineup, I will choose one of you to get some cash. I will send you guys like $250. So if you want $250, I'll Venmo you $250 if we cash this. So just let me know, comment below, and I will give you guys that and maybe some free swag. So I got some Prop Queen swag that my mom wants to send away. So I'll give somebody $250. I'll give some swag away. Just comment below on the Prize Picks lineup when I post it to my social page on X at Ariel Epstein. That's all I got for you guys today. Good luck to all of your bets. I hope you all cash. And we will see you on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern time here on the Prop Queen Pod.